Hello, dear friends and fellow voters. My name is Joe Michael Sifuentez, and I'm a retired law enforcement officer with ICE. I served as a federal law enforcement officer for over 27 years, including 14 years in managerial and leadership positions, such as acting field office director in El Paso, Texas, during the latest humanitarian crisis, and deputy assistant director at ICE headquarters. In addition, I served as the Director of Migrant Operations for the Catholic Diocese of El Paso, and I'm a published author on immigration reform. My book is named Immigration Reform: Pathway to Bipartisan Legislation that will rectify this decades-long political debacle. As such, I offer an open-minded, non-biased, and unique perspective regarding immigration-related matters. I'm sending you this message because, like many of you, I'm appalled by the current immigration enforcement tactics and wholeheartedly disagree with the direction our current president and his administration are taking my former agency. Therefore, I cannot remain silent in good conscience and pretend to support this administration merely to save face with those who previously worked with me. Many others who served or currently serve in law enforcement share my sentiments in not supporting the inhumane activity of our president, and this includes many former and current ICE agents who cannot speak out against the current presidency because they're still public servants. Throughout my federal career, I took pride in enforcing our immigration laws, even at times when I was not in full agreement with politically motivated policies that were forced upon us. However, at no point during my career was I expected to disregard our laws or turn a blind eye to anyone's civil rights or liberties as is currently being done. Even early in my career, I knew not to violate these valuable rights due to the Fourth Amendment training, which involved protections from unreasonable searches and seizures that I received in the Federal Law Enforcement Academy. All ICE agents must pass this course before graduating to ensure officers understand and respect constitutional rights. Thus, within the framework of the law, officers do not have a viable excuse for violating anyone's constitutional rights and are not automatically shielded from liability even when following the president's orders. Nonetheless, this is happening under this administration. The truth is, the president and his administration have set our country back over 70 years regarding our civil rights and civil liberties protections because they are purposely forcing ICE to operate outside the boundaries of our Fourth and Fifth Amendment protections, even for U.S. citizens. For instance, there have been many reported accounts of ICE agents entering premises without a judicial warrant after not receiving consent to enter, which contradicts the Fourth Amendment training that officers receive. Unlawfully removing someone from the United States, we've heard this on numerous occasions occurring. Not allowing someone with significant ties to the United States and no criminal history a bond hearing as a matter of due process, which is a violation of the Fifth Amendment. Racially profiling while conducting enforcement operations, for example, gathering people at the Home Depot, detaining U.S. citizens without reasonable suspicions that they are not a citizen, and completely disregarding temporary protections for removal and prior UNHCR refugee convention agreements. You should be very concerned about this because if this administration can continue to get away with doing this to the immigrant community, what is to prevent them from doing this to us? This administration is only 6 months into its 4 year term. This should be a wake up call to all of us, especially Hispanic Americans, and those of you who served or are serving in law enforcement, especially federal law enforcement. This is not aimed at the agents in the field, as they are only following orders and putting themselves in harm's way daily. This is aimed at the current administration, starting with the White House's Deputy Chief of Staff, who is forcing them through written and unwritten policies to circumvent the law to meet their goal of arresting 1 million undocumented immigrants this year by any means necessary, including violating one's civil rights and liberties, which diminishes and undermines the sacrifices made by our heroic American civil rights activists to gain these rights, like Dr. Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez, President John F. Kennedy, and Robert F. Kennedy. Friends, now my request to you. As Americans, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, white, black, brown, or Asian, young or old. We need to do better than this. We have been blessed in so many ways, yet we continue to support these mean spirited, narrow minded people because so many have been brainwashed to believe that this Make America Great Again propaganda is aimed at making our country better, when instead, the path we are on continues to divide us and return us to an era that predates the civil rights and civil liberties movement. Why do you think statues and names on buildings are being replaced again? And voting districts are now being redrawn in the state of Texas. Moreover, why do you think so many brown skinned nationals are now being rounded up and removed from our country so rapidly? Some find satisfaction in seeing immigrants suffer and are applauding these mean spirited actions. But I know that you do not. As such, I ask you to join me in reaching out to your local representatives and senators to one, voice your concerns and disagreement with the current administration's written and unwritten inhumane policies associated with enforcing our immigration laws and demand that they stop violating our civil rights, liberties, and constitutional protections just to enforce immigration law. Two, demand that each ICE special agent in charge and field office director be summoned before Congress to testify as to the truth of what the White House is ordering them to do regarding how the agents and officers need to perform their enforcement activities. Three, demand that this administration stop targeting non criminal offenders and get back to targeting criminal offenders. Our tax dollars shouldn't be wasted on massive personnel increases and facilities to process and house people who have not committed a criminal offense. Four, demand some form of comprehensive immigration reform that will allow non criminal immigrants to work in the United States lawfully. I'm not suggesting amnesty or open borders because it doesn't work to deter unlawful entries. If you do not agree, I suggest that you read Chapter 9 of my book, because it will give you a detailed account of President Reagan's regrets associated with his 1986 Reform Act. Nonetheless, this is something that Congress needs to be pressured to figure out because reform is necessary and long overdue. And five, and in addition to one, two, three, and four, join me and several of our friends in standing up a collective movement to place nonviolent pressure on this administration to change its policies and to work collectively to prepare for the upcoming 2026 elections. Numbers will speak on our behalf. Young adults, I hope I have your attention because your vote will be more critical than ever this time around. Collectively, you will make a huge difference because, not trying to be judgmental against any of you, very few of you voted last time around during the 2024 presidential election. And to further this cause, I will continue to keep all of you informed through this blog. But in the meantime, I kindly ask that you familiarize yourself with the 15 facts that I included on this page. It will educate you on the truth of immigration related matters and counter the false rhetoric being fed to mainstream America. Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines being a patriot as being a true patriot means having a deep love and support for one's country, combined with a commitment to its core values and a willingness to contribute contribute to its betterment. It involves more than just nationalistic pride. It includes a dedication to upholding the principles of freedom, justice, and equality, and actively participating in civic life. Once again, my name is Joe Michael Sifuentez, and I now ask all of you patriots to join us in speaking out against this administration to demand change so that we can return to our proud identity of being the melting pot. Together, we can put an end to this madness, one voice and vote at a time. May God bless all of you, all of you. Thank you for your time.